Hello and welcome to Just Vintage Crochet. We're going to work another mystery pattern. So if you're new to the channel, here's how this works. I've got patterns spanning from the 1840s to the 1980s. And all of their titles are completely blacked out and they have no illustrations. The ones that did have illustrations, we've cut them out. I say we, my son did a lot of the busy work on this. He's the one who did all of this. And we've got numbers next to every pattern, and I dig in my bowl, I pick a number, we work the pattern, and we won't know what it is until we're done making it, and we unmask the pattern. Now, some of these, the titles aren't blacked out. That's because the titles included a photo or a picture or a drawing. And my son has all of those held hostage in his room. So whenever I complete a pattern, I run down the hall and I tell him I need the picture for like number 9, for example. So that's what we do. Let's pick our pattern. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see, what do we got? Number 1. Oh, hey, number 1's right here. Okay, and this one is from 1849. Okay, fun. That's a nice old one. All right, let's see what, well, first of all, since we're going to work number 1 is done. So let's get rid of that. And let's see, what do we need? Make a chain. Okay. We need crochet thread number 80 and 90 and a Penelope crochet hook or crochet needle number 4. So we need to make a chain of 106 loops with thread number 80, the second smallest. Turn back and work in double. Now, this is going to be written in UK terms. So when they say double crochet, for the US, that translates into single crochet. Always working on one side. So we have to cut. That is turn back and work. Always on one side, commencing at the right-hand side. With a lot of these older patterns, whenever you get down to the end of a row, you cut, you come back, and you tie on, and you work your next row. But it says here, turn back and work in double crochet. Always working on one side, commencing at the right-hand side of the foundation. First row, single open crochet with thread number 90. Now, single crochet is a slip stitch, and open crochet is where you make, like if you're doing fish netting, okay? Open crochet is also referred to as square crochet, which is going to be like your filet crochet, or it is filet crochet. But open crochet can mean two things. Typically, it can mean where you just work chains and you net the chains together, so like netting, or it could be filet crochet, but single open crochet is kind of throwing me for a little bit of a loop. Let me get materials first, and then we'll go over this and determine if this is meant to be like a netting or like a filet. Be right back. So here's what I came up with for material. I'm going to use a number 10 cotton in white and then a number 20 cotton. So I'm using the number 10 for the size 80, and I'm going to use a number 20 cotton for the size 90. Yeah. And I am using a 1.5 millimeter crochet hook because that's a pretty good hook size to use with number 10 cotton. So it says here to make a chain of 106 loops with the number 80 thread. I'm going to use the number 10 for that. So let's just start with that. Okay, worked my 106 chains. Now bear in mind, whatever this winds up being in the end, it's too big for what it was meant to be because we're using a much bigger hook and much, much bigger yarn. This was meant to use like sewing thread, okay? Now turn back and work in double crochet, always working on one side. Commencing, okay, I think what they're saying is I can go ahead and work back this way. Commencing at the right-hand side of the foundation. Okay, so start from the right-hand side of the foundation and work over. First row, single open crochet. That's one I don't quite understand. Single crochet is slip stitch, and then there's open crochet. I'm going to have to look that one up because I don't know what single open crochet is. I know what single crochet is back then. That's a slip stitch. And I know what open crochet is. That's like a netting. It's like a netting. I don't know what they mean by the two. Because if it is a netting, how many chains go between the single crochet? You know, I got to look that up. So first things first, let's go ahead and work our first row of single crochet. It says double, but it means, for us, it translates to US terms to single crochet. I'll be right back. Suppose I could show you me starting the first row, so I'm going to skip the first chain, so in the second chain from the hook, and of course, as many of you know, I work in the back bumps. I'm just going to start working my single crochet all the way to the end. And while I'm doing this, I'm also going to see if I can't learn something about single open crochet. And, you know, that way we can all learn, because I'm not super familiar with that particular stitch technique. I know what the breakdown of the terminology is separately, like independently, but all together, not familiar. So I gotta do a little bit of studying and looking that up. So I'm gonna continue to work this first row of single crochet, and I'm gonna do a little bit of research, and I will be right back. Okay, I have worked my single crochet row, and I also found out what a single open crochet is. This is from an 1850 book, and it says right here, single open crochet. This is a succession of long stitches. So let's come up here and learn what they want for long stitch. Maybe I should actually have this in frame, because as we know, long stitch can be a half double crochet, or it can be a double crochet, or it can be an extended double crochet. So long stitch, twist the cotton around the needle, pass it through the loop, draw the cotton through the first 2 loops on the needle, then catch the cotton again and draw it through the next 2 loops. There will be only 1 loop left on the needle. So this is a double crochet. So single open crochet, this is a succession of long stitches, so double crochet, with a chain stitch between each, missing 1 stitch of the foundation. In these succeeding rows, the long stitches worked between the 2 long stitches of the preceding rows, so in the chain 1 space. So basically, single open crochet is a filet crochet, but with only 1 chain stitch between the doubles instead of 2 chain stitch between the doubles. 2 chain stitch between the doubles is square crochet. So I think that's why they call this a single open crochet. It has nothing to do with a single crochet or a slip stitch, but the fact that there is only 1 chain between the 2 doubles instead of 2 chains, which would make it a square. So now we know what we are working with. Also, I was looking at this, a Van Dyke open crochet. That is a granny stitch. That's a good, look at this. Work 3 long stitches into 1 of the foundations, so 1 chain stitch. Make 1 chain stitch, miss 3 of the foundation, and repeat. In the next and following rows, the long stitches are worked in the chain 1 stitch, or the chain 1 space. That's a granny stitch. That is so cool that they used to call that a Van Dyke. So if you ever come across an old pattern and it says Van Dyke open crochet, now you know it's a granny stitch. Okay, so I've got my single crochet row done and it is cut. We are ready to start all over again on the right side. That is how the whole pattern will be worked. As it does say here, always working on one side, commencing at the right-hand side of the foundation. So every row, just as we had learned in the Understanding Antique Crochet video, often whenever they are working with something that's not in the round, so not, something that's like not a doily, they would not just simply chain 1 and turn. They would cut at the end of every row and then start back on the right hand side and then move over again, just like a typewriter. Okay, so also it's not mentioned in this, but it is somewhat known. It's not as if it's something that I somewhat knew, but I learned this whenever I was trying to figure out what the single open crochet is. I found out often enough, they also worked in the back loop only of most of their stitches. They liked the texture. So we're going to go ahead and work this entire thing in back loop only as well, as I think that's probably what it was meant to look like, whatever this is. So I'm going to start right into the back loop. Let's add our green. This is my number 20 thread. And again, just to remind you, whatever this thing winds up being is a lot bigger than what it was meant to be, because we are using a lot bigger yarn and hook, or thread and hook. Okay, so row 1, single open crochet with thread number 90, and then it goes on to row 2. So now we know that is basically just filet crochet. So let's start with a chain 4. That's going to count as our single crochet. Let me put this right here so you can see what I'm doing a little easier. It's nighttime now, so it's a little darker. There we go. So we're going to start with a chain 4, which will count as our double crochet plus chain 1. Now we're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch over, we will work a double crochet. Then we will chain 1, skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch over, we work our double crochet, chain 1, and repeat. Skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch over, we work our double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, work 1. Chain 1, skip 1, and work 1. Put a little cadence in your head. There we go. Let me get this hook out of your way. And that is what we are working with right there. So I'm going to continue to do this all in back loop only. And then I will be right back. Okay, so here we go. This is what I have so far. I just finished, so we're going to have to cut. There we go. We'll just chain 1 and cut. There we go. And then we will start back at the beginning again. Count 3 chains up. 1, 2, and 3. And I'll go ahead and rejoin the yarn there. Let's see what's next. Okay. So that was row 1. So now second row is double crochet, which means for us, for US crochet terms, this translates into single crochet. So we're going to do just single crochet. My guess is we're going to work a single crochet into every double crochet and every chain 1 space. But I may have to just do this row tonight and then finish this up tomorrow whenever I've got some sunshine, so that it's much easier for you guys to see. And well, that's kind of a mess. So, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and work it like normal just for this one stitch. Now, where is my chain 1? There we are. So back loop only, single crochet into every double crochet and every chain 1. I'm not going to be working into the chain 1 space, but into every chain 1, but the back loop of the chain 1. So you see, there's the 2 loops there. I'm going to work into this back loop here, just like that. And then the back loop only of the double crochets. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I will be back. I will work this all the way to the other end, and then I will cut and come on back. See you then. Okay, so I finished up this row of single crochet. I cut. I'm going to start on this end, but I'm going to do that in the morning because it's so dark now that it's going to be really hard for you guys to see this darker color yarn. And I have my window right here. It's just the sunshine is just so much better. So I am going to take a break for the rest of the night, and I will catch back up with you in the morning. But here is how it's turning out. What we're going to do with all these tails, Lord, I don't know. But anyways, there it is. I'll see you guys in the morning. Okay, now it's the next day. It's daytime. We can see so much easier now. So let's move on to row 3. And we are going to work 5 chains and 7 long. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so 5 chains and 7 long. So I guess we'll start with 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. It seems like we shouldn't start with 5. I think I'm going to add 3 more for a first double crochet. Now it says 7 long, so I'm going to assume that the very next stitch over, I'm just going to start working the double crochets. So I'll work 7 of these and I will be right back. So I worked a couple of these. Of course, I'm not skipping any stitches down here at the bottom because it doesn't say to, but it doesn't say much. It just says 5 chains, 7 long, repeat. So this is what I can only assume that they mean. So I just worked 7 long. Now I will work the 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the very next stitch over right here, not skipping any stitches at all. And of course I'm working in just the back loop only. And I am working these 7 long. There we go. So I'm going to continue to work this all the way to the end. And hopefully it ends the way it started. But if it doesn't, I don't know, we'll figure it out from there, or we'll just continue to move on because it may be intended. We don't know. I'll be right back. So here's what I have so far. It likes to curl on itself, but here's what I have so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this here. I ended 1, 2, 3, 6. I had 6 double crochet when I ended and no loop, but I started with a loop and 1 double crochet. So in a way, I mean, my numbers are still straight if you count the 1 right here and the 6 right here and then this loop. I don't know. Let's just carry on. Oops. 4th row, we start with 7 chain and 5 long, repeat. Okay. Oh, I stabbed my couch. All right, so I'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and join into this chain 3 over here. Okay, now I'm not for sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. I went ahead and chain 3 for my first double crochet. I don't know. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then do I just jump over the loop to the first double crochet? I genuinely don't have a clue if what I'm doing is right. This is probably goofy and not even remotely close to being correct. Oh, I forgot I was working back loop. Hang on. Here we go. This is probably so unbelievably goofy and not even close to being correct. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then it said to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I'm guessing I just do that again. I don't know. Back loop only. I mean, maybe. This seems kind of silly right here off to the side. This doesn't seem quite right. I don't know. All I can do is keep going and see how it works out at the end. That's all I can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Besides, I'm sure that if I missed something, you guys will not hesitate to let me know. I can't imagine what I'm missing. Let's look at the instructions. Turn back and work in double crochet. That's single crochet. That was our single crochet. No. Turn back and work. Yeah, that was our very first single crochet row in white. Always working on one side, commencing at right-hand side of foundation, first row, single open crochet. That's the filet crochet with thread number 90. Second row, double crochet. So one row of single crochets. And then third row, we've been going. Just the instructions are just as they look. So I don't know what else, I mean, obviously, you know, there was crochet techniques and crochet methods used in the time that probably were never wrote down because they were just a given. They were just something you automatically knew. Common sense, so to speak, for the times. So, and that may be, I mean, that's likely what I'm missing. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm just going to keep going because I don't know really what else to do. And it makes it so interesting at the end because I do believe that as cut up as this pattern is, I think we have a picture. So we're going to see how wrong I am about this. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to continue to work in this pattern all the way to the end. Okay, so now this is the end of row 4. I am one short on this side, so I don't really know what I need to do here, so I'm just going to leave it. I don't know what else to do. That's the mystery part of these, isn't it? So here's what we have so far. Okay, and now this side over here is just really weird. Really weird. Let's see what we are meant to do next. And 5th row, 7 chains and 3 long. Okay, let me get my yarn hooked up over here. Okay. So I joined and I chained 3 for a double crochet, and one more time it says 7 chain and 3 long. So 7 more chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And no, I don't think that this is correct on this side. I'm not making this particular half with very much confidence, but we're going for it. And now 3. Doesn't that seem... It seems like we started with 7 double crochet, then we went to 5, which left us with 2 extra on the end. And in a way, it almost seems like we should have 1 extra on this end and 1 extra on this end unworked. And now with 3, we're eliminating 2 again, which really makes me want to jump in the middle and work the 3 middle double crochet. But then again, that's probably not right, because it would have said to do that, right? At some point, it would have said, you know, miss the first long, or, you know, something along those lines, and it doesn't say that. It just wants us to carry on, so I can only assume that this is the way. I hope it's right. Okay, and then 7 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then 3 double crochet. So I'm going to continue to work this all the way to the end, just like this. This side over here is goofy, but it's probably supposed to be that way. I don't know. I'm not going to judge yet. Okay. I'll be right back. Yeah, this just seems like, doesn't this seem like it should be all lined up in the middle? Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I finished that row off. I went ahead and cut and rejoined over here and chained 3 for the first double crochet. This is what it's looking like, and I just can't shake this feeling like this is not right. Let's continue. Okay, 6th row. 5 chains and 5 long. repeat. Okie doke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5. This is thoroughly reinforcing the idea I have that I was meant to be skipping the first stitch the whole time from down here. Because look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then into this first chain over here makes 5. Yep. Now, I may need to start this all over again because I've already cut so many pieces off. I can't just unravel it and then rework this yarn. This yarn is like done. I think I'm going to have to start this over again. At least up until I think I can keep the white and just start. I think I need to unravel row 3 on. I do. I don't think this is right. Then again, I don't know. Maybe it's meant to go like this. Maybe this is something that's meant to have a... Well, then maybe I just keep going. I just keep going because maybe it's meant... Do you see how it's like kind of coming around and doing this? So maybe it's meant to have some shape to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep going. I'll be back. Oh, let me just show you the next portion here. We're going to chain 5 and then work 5. And so into the last chain, I'll work 1 double crochet, then into the back loop only of the 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, and then into the first chain. Okay, so I'm going to continue to work. Look at that. Even the chains in between, they're not jumping up like this. See how these are bumped up? Look how flat that one is. Like, dilemma. Part of me wants to start this over again, but skipping the first double crochet. Why wouldn't they mention it though? I mean, if they wanted it done, they would mention it, right? They would mention it. Cute. Does the little slash mean something? No, it does not. That's dumb. No, it does not. There's nothing in here that says to miss a stitch, skip a stitch. Here it says missing every 4th stitch. That's the one time miss is even expressed. So do I keep going? In a way, I wish this was live so that I could just stop a minute and see what you guys think. But I've got to keep going or start over again. All right, let me just jump off for a moment and think about this. Let me think about this. And I'll be back. I'll be right back. So I went ahead and I just pushed on and finished row 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another one of these on the side. And I'm going to make it after I just made these 2 rows here. I feel like I did these all wrong. So I'm going to make them the way I'm thinking it needs to be done, even though there is lack of instruction for it to do it that way. So I'm going to keep making this one per the instructions that we can all see. And I'm going to make another one per the instructions that I'm assuming. All right, so moving on to row 7. And also, I'm just going to go ahead so I don't have to keep jumping on here because these are all basically the same. It's just the numbers of chains or longs are different. So when we get to 10th row, I will be back, but I'm going to hold this up if you want to follow along. 7th row is going to be 3 chains and 7 double crochet. 8th row 3 chains and 9 double crochet, and 9th row, no, I'll be back at 9th row. Forgive me, things change there. Wait a minute, no. Yes, things will change on row 9. So I'll be back on row 9. So I'm going to work 7 and 8 off camera. So again, row 7, chain 3, 7 double crochet, repeat. Row 8, chain 3, 9 double crochet, repeat. I will be back. I didn't even hold that up right for you. There, you can pause the screen. So I'll be back whenever we get down to the 9th row. Okay, so I finished rounds 7 and 8. And now let's move on to the 9th round. I already moved the little deal over. So we start with 3 stitches of 3 chain crochet and 7 long. It's weird that they would word it that way, because isn't that what we've been doing this whole time? 3 stitches of 3 chain crochet. Is 3 chain crochet something different? Is chain crochet something different than chain? Let me look this up really quick. Okay, so, actually it is slightly different. It's not just making chains. It is actually making a chain of 3 with a single crochet at the end. So, or you're going to attach it with a single crochet. And there's also a chain, a 5 chain crochet and so on, but it's typically uneven numbers is what it said. Okay, so here we go. It said 3 stitches of chain 3, then 7 long. So I'm going to add 3 more. 1, 2, 3. So there is my 3 stitches of chain 3. Count 2, 1, 2, and in the 3rd chain over, work a single crochet. And then do this 2 more times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and in the 3rd stitch over, make a single crochet. And then 1, 2, 3. Then it says to work 7. 1, 2. Well, if I secure this one with a single crochet, then I chain 3 more and do 7, it's going to look like 4. So we'll just call this one here my chain 3, then work 7 double crochet. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and in the chain, and 7. Yeah, no, I don't think that's right at all. I don't think that's right at all. Look at that. I think this one is turning out to be quite a mess. I just almost don't even want to finish this, and I'd rather just work on it my own way, the way I think it's meant to be, because this is feeling this is feeling like I am kind of wasting my time a little bit, because I look at this. First of all, this looks correct. All of this right here looks correct. This looks not correct. And this, I'm just going to work my way across the row. It's not going to be right. Nothing about this is going to be right. Something is wrong. Something is missing. 13th row, 12 chain, 2 long, repeat. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? It's just going to be a second for you, but I am kind of over this. This is not right. I'm going to do this my way. Now, when I say my way, that's based on this upper portion right here. I think this is also supposed to be down here, the mirrored opposite. And then I think whatever this is meant to be would naturally work out right to where these 7 are in the middle of these 9 perfectly. Like, this isn't right. So I am going to be right back. And I'm going to make this my way. I'm going to do something a little special for you guys though, okay? I was thinking about this last night. Whenever I said I'm going to make one of these, another one of these, the way I think it's supposed to look, I decided to pull out something special to use that I couldn't get away with using on camera because people wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing very well. But I am going to make whatever this is. It looks like a collar. I'm kind of thinking it's a collar. Oh, look at that back portion there. That looks kind of cool, doesn't it? I'm thinking this is a collar. I don't know, but I'm not going to uncover this or anything yet. This still needs to be a mystery. I'm going to jump off of camera for just a few hours, and I'm going to follow the instructions and make this my own way. I just don't even want to waste my time with this one anymore because I already know it's wrong. This is so beyond wrong. I will be right back, and it will be great. You guys will be entertained, I promise. Okay, so it might be a little darker now because it's a few hours later. It's darker, the sun's setting. So here is my surprise for you. I have this 90-plus-year-old size 60 crochet cotton thread. And you can see here its patent pending is March 5th, 1918. It's supposed to be white. I mean, you know, that's okay. This is what it looks like underneath the surface layer. I used this one because this is one I've used before. This one here is for my personal collection. It doesn't get used at all. So I used this so you can see just how fine this is. This is thinner. I mean, it's sewing thread. This is sewing thread. And I used a number 12. Hopefully I can get that into focus for you. A number 12 hook to make this. I think it's a collar. I think it's a collar, and it might be a child's collar. Or it's an edging. If it's not a collar, it's an edging, as my guess. But here is what I made. Now look at that. Doesn't that look proper? I just knew it wasn't right. Now, you will notice that the first row, I didn't just work those stitches side by side. Here's the original one. See how I had no stitching between? That's because it dawned on me these instructions, I think, are just suggestions for the most part. It says 5 chain 7 long. That doesn't mean that you have to start with 5 chain. Make it make sense. You know, it has to make sense. You have to use common sense with these older patterns like this. Now, I don't get it spot on every time. Obviously, I make mistakes. I'm human. I think I got it right this time. So I started off with, and I did a little math to try to even it out as best I could so that I could have 3 stitches skipped in between our starting groups of 7. Then I moved up to 5. And then 3, and then we did 5 and 7 and 9, and we created a sort of a diamond. So I do think this is a collar. I think this is a collar. Maybe you're meant to make 2 and put it on your lapel like that, and then make another one. I think it's a collar. And then here is the last portion we were starting up here. See that? And there you go. I started it off with 4 double crochet. Then I worked my three loops, and I carried on from there because it was just a matter of figuring up the math and making sure that your math worked out for each diamond every time. And then the last part I did my own way. Okay, I did it their way. I did it their way at first with the 12 chain too long. I hated it. I did not like it at all. It had me jump over, I worked down into here, and then I did the 12 chain, and it was all just these loose loops that were just kind of loosey-goosey, and it just didn't look right. It looked out of place. So I went back, and I instead did a chain 8, and I secured it to the single crochet between these 6 loops. Then I did another chain 8, and I secured it to the middle double crochet at the top, and then chain 8, chain 8, chain 8, all the way across. And I rather like the way this one looks better for my own personal taste. So that is what I went with. So now this is Let's uncover the mystery. Oh, wait, let me uncover first and then I'll run down the hall and get the picture. Okay, here we go. Number 12, Etruscan lace cuff. Oh, it's a cuff. Oh, okay, I can see that. Etruscan. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look up how to pronounce that. But first, I'm gonna run down the hallway and let's get the picture. A cuff. Hey. Oh my goodness, look at how pretty. I thought it was a collar. Never in a million years. So it just needs a couple of buttons back here. All right, let me go get the picture. Well, okay. Yeah. I didn't get it exactly right on my own either. But I got pretty doggone close. This is the way it looks in the book. Number 12, Etruscan lace. Etruscan lace. That's what I'm assuming. I didn't get it exactly precisely right either. I'm noticing. I certainly didn't do the 12. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it looked. See the loops at the top? They were very loose. I kind of like mine better, but that's me. That's my taste. I'm not saying you know, nobody has to do what I did, but look how pretty. With this super fine number 60 thread. Oh my goodness, look at how pretty. Look how pretty that is. Oh, wow. I love it. And look at the natural color change from that 90-year-old cotton. You can tell this portion was on the surface and this down here was further in. There it is. 172-year-old lace cuff. Isn't that beautiful? From 1849. Isn't that beautiful? I feel like I got pretty close. I see 3 loops there. I don't know where those 3 loops are. I didn't get it quite right. I still didn't get it right because I have 6 loops. Yeah, I don't have it quite right. Here's the pattern if you want to do it. The 9th row, we read that part. 10th row, 4 stitches of 3 chain crochet, 5 long, repeat. 11th row, 5 stitches of chain 3 crochet, 5 long, repeat. Then 12th row, 5 stitches of 3 chain crochet, 3 long. Crochet ends with double crochet, that's single crochet. 13th row, 12 chains, 2 long, repeat. Work this row round each end of the cuff and work the band in double crochet with thread number 80, missing every 4th stitch of the foundation. So I was thinking, in conclusion, I think this pattern, the reason why first of all, nowhere does it say to skip or miss stitches, but clearly they want you to miss stitches and basically do almost what I had done. I still didn't quite get it right. I think this is one of those patterns that relies on the picture along with the wording to make it correctly. Like you can't make it without the picture. Like it's incomplete without the diagram. So whenever it says 5 chains, 7 long, it wants you to come down here, look at 3 and go, oh, okay, that's what it wants me to do. All right, got it. It's in my head now. You know, and so I think that's why it just simply didn't work out, because the pattern, it doesn't have to be explanatory as it's meant to come with the illustration to carry the pattern along. Okay. So I didn't like the 12, these right here. I really didn't like the way it looked, so I did my own thing, and it worked out pretty good for me, and I did not get the pattern right. As you can see, let me move this. As you can see, I've got 6 below these large 8 chain. Right down here, I've got 6 loops. They've got 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then 3 up at the top. So I really messed it up, but I think it still works out okay in the end. It looks so pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? I can't get over it. I need to get some little buttons for this, don't I? I need to make another one. I need to make another one. Oh my goodness, that is so pretty. There you go. Okay, guys, let me know in the comments what you think. This mystery pattern, we worked it out kind of oddly, and I apologize for that. I just didn't want to waste my time going any further with this one. I knew I had it all wrong. I knew I had it all wrong, and I just wanted to make another one, but I really wanted to make another one with number 60 thread. You can see right there, number 60. I wanted it to look really neat, whatever it was, and I think it does. Okay, guys, I'll see you guys in the next mystery pattern. Love you lots. Bye.